We thank y'all for tuning in to us today, but we're going to talk a little more serious today. We're going to talk about our finances. What's your relationship with them?
It's the Naybors Podcast with Reese and Mike. They discussing different issues that affect our streets and life. Said it's the Naybors. We the Naybors. Yeah.
You.
Good morning. What's up, Coops?
Yo, man, I'm good, bro. I'm good. I'm gonna tell you, the last couple weeks, the wife and I, we've been really sitting down talking about our finances.
Gotcha.
And there's something that we talked about before, but we never really always saw eye to eye. Right. It's been recently where the two of us have been relatively more on the same page.
Gotcha.
But a lot of it, I had to do a self-reflection.
Okay.
In all honesty, on what was my real relationship towards money.
Right. Okay.
All right. And I think there's a lot of y'all out there that's listening to us. Y'all might be questioning the same thing. Like, what is your real relationship with money? And I'm saying that because, y'all know that we've been married, it'll be 25 years very, very soon for us.
Hey.
And right. And so what happened is in our first 5 years, this is our first 5 years, we had our gas cut off. We had our electricity cut off. We filed for bankruptcy.
Mm-hmm.
We almost had the house repoed. Repossessed. We had the car repossessed.
Mm-hmm.
This is our first 5 years of marriage.
Wow.
And so, and then because we owned the house, we were able to sell it in year 6, whatever, to recoup some money. But in all reality, I'm going to be honest with you, I did not know how to really budget or how to balance a checkbook or anything like that.
We all been through that. I've been through the same scenario, and not marriage, but
right.
Because back then, you feel it, almost everything like a free flow.
Mm-hmm.
But when reality kicks in, when that money get drained, you're like, okay, we got to make some changes.
Right.
I mean, basically, it's part of living and learning. But finances, you really think when we was younger, was we taught about finances?
Not really,
because everything is day to day.
Right,
and we took advantage of that.
We did, but the reality is that wasn't sustainable. Like, we can't keep it up, know. So, like, I remember childhood wise, us not having for those of you who grew up in Philly and some of them row homes or whatever else. I mean, I don't know too many people that had gas as their heating element. Like they heated the house.
Right.
So everybody that I knew had oil. Right.
Okay. Back then we had gas.
All right. So for us, if you have oil heat, like, how often do you have to pay for oil? That's an additional bill, right?
Yeah, right.
So, and you don't always game plan for that, because you never know when the weather is going to go crazy, right?
True.
And so you got oil heat, and then you realize I don't have the money, and you keep trying to nickel and dime oil,
right?
And then next thing you know, you don't have no heat. I mean, and we had moments, man, like where we didn't have oil. We could go like a week or so without heat in our house.
Wow.
Because that's just the way things were.
Right.
You get what I mean? So I think that's the challenge that I didn't always see. What appeared to be the right management of finances.
Okay.
But I mean, I'm single parent home.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So 2 kids, single parent home, and it's not like my brother and I sat at home all the time. Like, we had church stuff going on and going here and there, whatever else. So, but yeah, man, I mean, I think that's the only reason why I'm bringing up this whole idea or that perception of relationship of, money.
Okay.
Because what I saw is what I took into the marriage.
Okay.
You know, is that rob Peter to pay Paul mentality.
Right. Yeah.
Yo, you know, and I don't even know how this is right now, but you know, if I go into my little storage area, I probably have a good 800-900 DVDs. And I'm saying that because now mind you, I said DVDs. I didn't say Blu-ray. I said DVDs.
Right. Yeah.
But that's because when my kids were born, I would go every paycheck. I would go in and buy some DVDs.
Got you.
And so what would happen is, you know what? The bill last month for Pico was only $75. Not realizing that, or remembering that I only paid half of that.
Gotcha.
So I might have paid, let's say I paid $50. Mm-hmm. So now this bill is actually $85 plus the $25 I actually owed.
Right.
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that I had a couple extra dollars and I forgot that I only paid half.
Right.
And the wife is like, no, Maurice, let's pay the whole bill. I'm like, no, we'll catch up later.
Right.
You get what I mean?
Right.
I screwed up.
Right. At least you admitted it.
Yes.
Yeah. Some like the people don't want to take accountability.
Right.
For that. You know, I've been there, done that too. You know. When I was younger, I had a repo. Went to the gas station, you know, credit cards cut up, went to the gas station, pump gas, like, yeah. The pump not working. Oh, we had to cut your car. I'm like,
oh
damn.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Being a knucklehead. The only person I can blame is myself.
Right.
Myself, you know. Not doing things the right way.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, you live and learn. Right.
And I think that's the challenge that, you know, how many of us can be honest with ourselves?
Correct.
You get what I mean?
Right.
Because that's not the easiest thing to do.
Right. If you don't take accountability for things,
right,
you go always think you can get away with stuff or slide by, which is going to hurt you in the long run.
Right.
Nip it in the bud once it happens. Okay, this is what I will not do the next time.
Right.
Because you never know when that time going to come up again.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So when he slap you, it's going to slap you hard. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
I mean, and so let me ask you this, Mike. I mean, so I know for me, I would see, let's say for whatever reason, the wife would stash some money. Like, I'm gonna tell you how bad my issues were. Let's say the wife stashed some money for whatever reason, and I found out about it or I knew about it. I would find a way to spend it. Like, that's how bad I was.
Wow.
Yeah, I would find a way to spend it.
Wow.
And so I cannot sit here and say and the way to spend it may not have always been on something that appeared to be incorrect. So let's say it's $100.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you know what? Let's take the $100. You know, and this is back in the day where you can get a hotel room for cheap, right?
Yeah.
You know, so let's say, let's take the family to Atlantic City and let's stay overnight real quick. Mm-hmm. Well, was it really in the budget to spend that $100?
No.
Right. You get what I mean? But in my mind, it's like, hey, the family, we're out, we're enjoying ourselves. But what I never took into consideration, I took the extra $100, but the four of us had to eat.
Correct.
So it wasn't just $100.
Right. And
you had to pay the tolls.
Keep going, including the gas.
Mm-hmm. You know, so that $100 that I thinking that I was just spending ended up being $250, $300.
Right.
That we didn't necessarily budget for.
There you go. Right.
You know, so I just want to know how many of you are or have been dealing with the same thing.
Right.
You know, what challenges have y'all been trying to overcome? And this is coming up because of this is just what I've been dealing with. Okay. I mean, I'm not dealing with it right this moment, but it's just those things that as we've been reflecting on all of the things we've been going through,
right.
You know, it's like, dang, like I really see how it's messing up.
Right.
You get what I mean?
Right.
And I get to say it out loud, right? Like right now is the first time where I'm actually admitting I had a problem.
Right. once again, you're accepting accountability.
Right.
You know what you did wrong. You know what
Right.
you got to do. You know what you had to do.
Right.
So that's the one step right there. Some people don't want to take accountability for things.
Right.
Especially when you're in a relationship or, marriage and all that. That word teamwork.
Right.
It's not me.
Yeah.
Or what can you do for me?
Right.
No. When you're in a certain marriage, teamwork, relationship, it's teamwork.
Mm-hmm.
These days you have to.
Right.
You have to. If not, what's going to happen?
Right.
So.
And so now, I I have to say it out loud just so I can say it to my kids.
Right. Correct. Understood.
You get what I mean? Because I don't want them to repeat.
Right. Exactly.
You get what I mean?
Exactly.
Because it'll be too easy.
Right.
And they both have jobs, and we talk to them all the time. Hey, save. Now they're not the greatest at it, so I understand. Like as of right now, because they're still young.
Right.
Hey, you got to grow into that a little bit.
Right.
Accountability. Like you might buy.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with treating yourself, but
right.
Get paid. Stash a little something aside, put aside.
Right.
Always that old classic saying, always save for a rainy day.
Well, I mean, so let me ask you this, Mike. I mean, so for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because again, these are I'm gonna give you two scenarios where I was wasting money that I didn't actually realize. The first one was going to a Mac machine. Y'all knows I said Mac machine. Going to a Mac machine, not an ATM, a Mac machine, but going to a Mac machine and not realizing that I had extra transaction fees because it wasn't my bank. Number one.
Right, yeah.
Number two was I didn't realize that I was spending anywhere between $15 to $20 a day on lunch when I was going to work.
Mm-hmm.
Did I really need to eat that much food?
Nope.
So why was I doing it?
You're doing it because you can do it.
You get what I mean?
Yeah. You did it because you can do it. Oh, man, I can go to Mac machine. Yeah. But basically, you was really fooling yourself.
Right.
Not by nobody else. You was fooling yourself.
Right.
Because, it's like, okay, you was talking to yourself. Yeah, we can keep up with Joan. Yeah, why not? We can do that. Yeah, why not? Let's do that.
Right.
That's what happened.
Right.
That's what happened. And nobody else influenced you to do it.
No.
You did it yourself. I did the same thing. Did the same thing. Bought the fees. I'm like, dang, go on. Then overdraft. Oh, what? Overdraft. I'm like, oh, my goodness.
Right.
Cool. I mean, the more you take out, the more money they taking from you.
Right. Right.
But we had to learn the hard way.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Had to learn the hard way. That's why you say now we teach our kids how to save and budget. And like I say, nothing wrong with exploring, treating yourself, but be reasonable. Be somewhat economical about the situation. Try to find a sales. Nothing wrong with sales. Trust and believe. Nothing wrong with sales. Nothing wrong with clients. Trust and believe.
Right.
All that, you just being cheap, blah, blah. Okay. You spend $400, I only spend $200 on the same product. So who's the smart one?
And here's the thing, though. That $400 was when it was, quote unquote, brand new versus $200 might have been a month later.
Right. So, I want it now. That's the problem. I want it now. I can't wait. Oh, okay.
Right.
I can wait.
Right.
I don't give it 7 days.
Right.
8, 2 months. If I can get it for that price, I'm going to wait.
Right.
Plain and simple. But a lot of people don't shop like that.
I mean, and I'm going to be honest, like there are still moments, and I was talking to my wife about it over the weekend, just how, like for an example, I could see where if I took my credit card and I look at my balance, yo, I got $75 in there available. Now, mind you, that means I'm $75 from being maxed out.
Correct.
Right?
Right.
But that $75 looking like I want to order from not just wings, which is I know is going to be $65.
Right.
So the car is not totally maxed out. I still got $10 left.
Right. True. True. But
here's what I don't take in consideration. The interest fees.
There you go. The interest rate is gonna cost more than $10.
And then guess what? Now I'm over my limit on my credit card.
Right.
Those are the things that I had to deal with.
Mm-hmm. Been there, done it.
You know, and that is why we're bringing it to y'all today. Like, how close to the vest are y'all? Like, how, like, you know, we listen to all these finance gurus and all this other type of stuff. Like, yo, you need to have at least 3 months, you know, of your living expenses in the bank, at least 3, preferably 6 months. And I totally agree, because you never know what's going to happen. Like you said, rainy day stuff.
Right. But
Mm-hmm.
it depends on your lifestyle. It depends on your finances a month. Some people can't afford to put away 3 months.
But see, that's the point, though, right?
Right.
You know, because let's look at what's going on right now. With everyone losing their job, there's a whole lot of people losing their job.
Yeah.
You know, and so what is the time frame of them finding another job? In all honesty,
And they fail the work they used to do.
right? So they're stuck.
They're stuck.
So my question is, for all those individuals, all of you that might have lost your job recently, when is it, or when will your resources dry up, and then the banks and everybody else starts to take away all your stuff?
Right. How about that? Right.
You get what I mean?
Right.
You know, so I get that you need to have the money, you need to have that resource put away, but
Right.
to your point, if I'm already check to check, there's no way I can catch up.
There's no way. Right. Right.
But I'm using what I did, spending money on DVDs that I didn't need to,
Right.
right? Spending money on lunch, way more than what I needed to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I didn't need you know, a fit because I worked in Center City. I used to love going to the gallery, because my job was like right.
Okay.
above
Reading
the gallery.
Terminal and all that.
Right. You know, so I would go, like you said, Reading Terminal. Yo, I can get me a pound of chicken wings. Grilled chicken wings, right? From the Amish.
Mm-hmm.
It was something like that for like $8.
$8.
Well, guess what I would do? One, I would eat the whole doggone pound just about of chicken wings, which doesn't make sense. Then, on top of that, I would have French fries, and I'm justifying it because in my mind, I'm justifying it because I worked the late shift.
Right.
And so I worked 11:30. I worked 11:30 to 8. That was my shift.
Okay.
My lunch was at 3:30. So what would happen is after 5, 6 o'clock, because I was in customer service.
Okay.
After 5, 6 o'clock, ain't nothing else to do.
Ain't nothing else to do. Right. Gotcha.
So I would just get all that chicken, and I'd just be tearing it up. After everybody left or whatever else, like I'll be sitting there tearing up the chicken, my French fries, and my soda. So that was my $20. You know, because I would get the chicken, it's $8. I would get French fries. I would get me 2 sodas, and then I would get me a snack.
Right. Gotta have the snack.
Right. So that was my $15, $20.
Yeah.
Right. You know, and so, but I did that every day. Was it really needed? So now when I look at myself and I'm like, dang, I'm just thankful I'm not 400 pounds. You get what I mean?
Yeah. Right. Right.
Because that was a whole lot of food I was packing away.
Right. Especially down there. You know, my daughter's mom when we was together, she worked down there, you know, pregnant with my daughter. You got to put in breakfast, lunch, snacks.
Right.
They can run you like $30 a day.
Yeah. Easy.
Easily.
Yep.
Easily.
Yep. That was me. On my lean days or days where I knew I didn't have the money, that's when I would go to the stand.
Gotcha.
I would like go get me 2 hot dogs and a bag of chips.
Right.
You know, though. But that was still $8, still $7 to $8.
Yeah, you know, 2 dogs, chips and soda,
Right.
etc. Right.
Right. It was still anywhere between $5 to $8.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, I just want to know, have y'all really taken a look at what your finances really are?
How about this? Right. Especially these days, this time and day. It's like you definitely gotta sit down and go over your finances when everything is going up.
Right.
And like me, you know, I had like get up and go like 3 different locations just to find, you know, reasonable price for food.
Right. Yeah.
And you have to do it now.
Yeah, you do.
You have to do it.
You do.
You definitely have to do it, and it's crazy. There's no more such thing as one shop.
No, you can't.
You know,
you can't because you have to. Now I do understand that there are some places where some of the food may be fresher than others.
Correct. Yeah,
I do understand that.
Right.
But otherwise, like because we're not in the city, we may not run into it as hard as some of the other. Like
Correct.
We lived in the city,
right? And the thing with that is, certain occasions they are kind of price gouging.
They are.
They're
taking advantage.
So,
I mean, let's be honest. I mean, I can't blame them per se. I can't. I understand. I mean, again, if I look at it from the business side, you're gonna try to get every little penny you can.
Yeah, because it's costing you.
Right.
Yeah, because it's costing you.
You know, because just how much is it going to cost, especially if everybody's gearing up for these tariffs and stuff, right? So I got to find a way to still have the money coming in.
Correct.
You know, so yeah, I mean, that's what I say. I can't be mad.
So
100%.
Right, because basically it just trickled down to the consumers.
Right. It does, but that's what they say was going to happen anyway.
It's going to happen, right?
You know, but even with that, so how can I pay my bills if I lost my job? Now I have a choice. Am I going to eat or am I going to pay my bills?
How about that? Especially if you have family.
Right. Dude, what are you supposed to do?
What are you supposed to do?
What do you so yeah, y'all, I just want to know what y'all thoughts are.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not this is a real conversation that the neighbors need to have.
Right.
In all honesty, because again, it affects our community.
It does. It does. Basically, what would you do for survival?
Right.
Seriously, what would you do?
I mean, and so I think, like where Mike and I are, I mean, it's a group of us that talk on a rather regular basis.
Right.
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, and I think that even the people that's across the street from us or whatever, like if we really had to come together, I think it would be a group of us that could. We might not, all of us might not speak all the time, right? But I think that if there was a issue, we would.
We would.
And that's not always easily found.
Right. Exactly.
It's not. You know, and so I mean, I appreciate where I'm at.
Right. Likewise.
You know, I appreciate it. You know, I mean, I just don't like the street itself, but I don't have a problem with the neighbors.
Right.
At all.
Right.
You know, so because we live on this hill and yeah, it's a whole lot of other, you know, craziness with it. You know, we feel like we're on a river.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what I said. So it's not the neighbors, it's the other environmental issues that we may have as well.
Correct.
You know, but I thank y'all very much for listening today.
Appreciate it. And you know, let us know what your situation was and what would you do.
Mm-hmm.
Feel free, reach out to us.
Right.
Instagram,
Facebook, Twitter.
Thank you, because you know
email. It's all good. It's all good. But y'all, we thank y'all for listening.
We sure appreciate it. Peace.
Thanks for hanging out with us on the Naybors Podcast. We hope you enjoyed the conversation and felt right at home. If you like what you heard, don't be a stranger. Subscribe, leave us a review, and share this with your friends and fam. Got something on your mind or a topic you'd love to hear us talk about? Hit us up. Until next time, remember, we're all just neighbors working together for a better community. Stay safe, stay connected, and we'll catch you in the next one.